Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Faster Way podcast. I am really excited for my conversation today with Connie Zack, who is the co founder of Sunlighten Saunas. And by the way, Connie, I bought a Sunlighten sauna 2 years ago. I spend every single evening in that sauna, and I am so thrilled to share your message with my Faster Way community. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Amanda. I've been really looking forward to having this great conversation, and it's been a minute since you and I met, so it's like great to be able to reconnect. And I'm so thrilled that you have a sauna now and you're using it every day. I can't wait to hear your routine and with the way you do things because that's what fascinates me, and I love hearing the time of day. Because everybody always asks me that. So yeah, I'm excited to chat.
Yes. Okay, take me all the way back to the beginning. And I know the beginning for you was quite a while ago when it comes to starting this company. Tell me when and why you started Sunlighten.
We started Sunlighten back, gosh, almost well, not almost, over 20 some years ago. And it was because my brother was chronically ill, and it wasn't until he found infrared from his dentist. His dentist realized that he was so ill because his mercury in his fillings in his mouth were leaking into his body. So he diagnosed him with heavy metal toxicity and said that infrared is a way to pull out the mercury from your body in a safe, natural way. And he started doing research. I started doing research, and he, bought an infrared sauna, and it changed his life. And at the time, I was working at Procter and Gamble in Cincinnati, and so was my at that time it was my fiance, who's now my husband, Aaron, or my business partner, and we were both working at P&G. And when we had always wanted, side note for a second, Aaron and I had always talked about doing something together grand, like really, like we are both super passionate about making a difference in this world and like leaving a footprint and helping the world be a healthier place and just doing our part. And so we always talked about that. And, I remember the moment when Aaron says, what happens if we don't need to create something new? What happens if we just take something that's, at its nascent stage and, bring it, put some science behind it and bring it to market? And that's exactly what we did. It was scary, so scary. Anybody that's listening that's, either thinking about starting a business or has their own business, I'm sure they can relate. I mean, we didn't have all the money we had, we put into the business. So then we didn't have any money, and we were just, there were saunas that needed to ship. And it was just um, a long year getting everything off the ground. And especially because I didn't really know, I mean, I didn't know anything about this incredible technology, but I've dedicated the rest of my life to helping others learn as much as possible, mastering the delivery of it, and bringing what I'm proud of is as some really fantastic collections that are not only extremely therapeutic, but we also work really hard to make them beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do. You make them beautiful. Anytime someone sees my sauna, they say, "Oh my gosh, it's so nice. It's so pretty. It's so elevated." So you stepped into a space that was already a fairly successful space, but I feel that your company really started to shine a light even more so and amplify the benefits of infrared saunas. And so I do just want to dive in for our listeners and talk about kind of the who, what, when, where, why, how when it comes to infrared. And by the way, it is infrared, correct, Connie? I believe I'm okay. So I'm saying that correctly. But like act as if I'm a complete newbie. I know nothing about health, wellness, or biohacking or detoxification for that matter. Why do I even need to consider a sauna?
Yep. So, and this takes me back to the basement because when we started, I mean, nobody knew what infrared was. So, I mean, we started essentially started the category. I mean, there was a
Okay.
couple other players, but they weren't, educating, and people had heard of a sauna, right? A traditional sauna, but they weren't familiar with infrared. So Infrared is a safe, natural wavelength of light and heat that comes from the sun. So I'm going to explain, because everybody's familiar with heat, right? And what that feels like, traditional heat. And you get traditional heat, you get hot because the air is hot. With infrared, you get hot because the wavelength is absorbed into your body and it starts to do this transformation, and it's absorbed by light and heat, um, and completely transforms the body and the cells in a totally different way. It essentially supercharges your cells. So traditional heat heats the air. We bypass the air, and then it's also a spectrum of light, which is different than traditional heat. So it is far, mid, near, and red. And red and near are two light wavelengths that penetrate the skin. And they're really, light energy is so important and is so needed for our bodies to survive. Infrared's not like a, what's the word, a luxury. It's like essential. I mean,
Mm,
people need infrared to survive. Like
mhm.
plants need infrared. I mean, that's you need to have light energy to survive. And we just found a way to bring the sun, the infrared spectrum part of the sun inside and master the quantity, the quality of each wavelength. So that way you get all the healing parts of the sun without any burning rays, and you get all the transformative, which we can talk about, properties.
Yeah, yeah, okay, so interesting. So, what is the difference between the sun that I would receive in the morning? So, for example, I do have a home in Costa Rica, and when I'm there, I wake up at 4:45 AM or 5 AM. I watch the sunrise for 30 to 45 minutes.
Hmm.
Is that also infrared, or am
Yes.
I okay, so what's
Yeah,
the
so that's
diff
a feeling of it. That's like, I love describing, if you're outside on a cloudy day and all of a sudden the sun peeks out from the clouds and you feel those rays. That's infrared. That is the feeling of infrared. That is like a warm blanket for your body. There's no like oppressive, like, oh my gosh, I can't stand the heat. It is literally like this internal feeling that your body has that responds to that wavelength.
Yes.
And so the majority of the sun's rays are in the infrared spectrum. We've just isolated out that wonderful spectrum of light and heat and brought it inside. So you're doing the right thing. That's a beautiful thing to do, is to get up and experience the sunrise. It's also great to experience the sunset, but um, we, taking it one step further, right? And helping to mobilize the cells through the absorption of this energy into your body over 30 to 40 minutes. Because that absorption is what, like I said, supercharges the cells. And that's how you get all these amazing benefits that we've proven. So this is proven science. This is something that I've been studying, for over 20 years. The good news is when I started back when I was at P&G, there was one of the reasons I always say jumped out of a parachute and I left my great job. One of the reasons I did that is because there was already science that was from Asia out there, especially on the heart, like all this great cardiovascular data that was more powerful, believe it or not, than the science I was doing at P&G when I was trying to bring forth antihypertensives. I was trying to lower blood pressure and help with triglycerides and all these things. And it was making a difference, but there was always a trade-off, right? There was always side effects that would happen. You just had to pray that there was a low incidence of them. But with infrared and with the Sunlighten sauna, I mean, it's safe and natural because you're harnessing the sun without the UV, and you're allowing your body to receive that energy in this safe, comfortable, natural way. And you can adjust the wavelengths. I mean, there's so many different things, so many different ways to use it. But what's most important is how you feel afterwards when you're done, which is absolutely magnificent. And you can talk about how you feel since you use it every day. But I mean, you just feel like $1,000,000, like God, I have so much more energy. My head is so much clearer. I have just this like drive to want to go and conquer the world after I get done. But yet I'm also relaxed. It's like the wonderful marriage of sympathetic state, parasympathetic state.
Mhm.
It just like combines the two. Um, and so I know I'm like, I can breathe easy and I can be relaxed, but yet I have this energy from within where I just want to go and, share, everything with everybody else. So it's really, if you haven't tried it, well, I know you have, but people listening, if you haven't been in a sunlight and sauna, it is really worth checking it out. You can always like do some Google searches if you want to go to a spa or a studio and see if they have a Sunlighten there, before you get one. But it really is it's unique.
Let's dive in just a little bit more to what the science says regarding those benefits. So, we've spoken about the impact on the cells, but share with me maybe 2 or 3 more very clear benefits of the infrared sauna.
Yeah. So one very clear benefit is detoxification.
Mhm.
So we know there's a BUS study that was done comparing blood, urine, and sweat, and the results from using infrared with the sweat was more powerful than elimination through blood and urine. In fact, for mercury and some of the other heavy metals, it wasn't even found in when they measured the blood and urine, but it was found when they measured the sweat. So it just shows you the importance and power of sweating. So detoxification is really, really important. I love all of those studies. There's so many on infrared for the heart. And the heart is, I mean, it's critical. It's really important to keep our heart healthy. And we know for sure that the science supports the fact that we increase the circulation. Infrared, it starts, if you just kind of picture that transfer of energy, it's energy medicine. You have infrared energy that's being absorbed into your body. You're receiving it. That energy is starting to make all these changes. And the flow of energy inside is what causes it so many benefits. So it's mobilizing everything. So you get increased circulation, you get increased oxygen to the brain, which is why there's so many brain benefits. You start to strengthen the endothelial lining of the heart. So there's better flow. So they show pictures of before and afters with infrared, with the lining and just showing like less clogged and less, more flow. Exercise, um, the ability to exercise longer. There's a study like if you went after using infrared, you're able to walk farther in 6 minutes than if you didn't. Another study, speaking of exercise, is on muscle recovery. So being able to help the body be more agile and flexible. So that's really huge. Sleep, nothing like a great night of sleep. And, we know that when you regularly sauna, it both helps with your circadian rhythm as well as just puts that body into, a wonderful parasympathetic state. So your head's clear, your body's cleaner because you're detoxifying, and it's a good thing to do for a really, really great quality of sleep. And people report back with their Garmin's or their trackers
Mhm.
or whatever their device that they're using to track once they sauna, and it's a game changer for a great night of sleep. So those are some. I mean, there's tons of different other benefits, but those, are some of the key benefits that, I want to make sure everybody is aware of.
What about skin and immune system? Would you say that you see benefits related to boosted immune system? And then also, how does the infrared sauna impact skin?
Yeah. Okay. We'll start with skin because that's a fun one. And I like to, when I talk about skin, I like to make sure I mention three of the four wavelengths because far infrared, and I'm not going to get too deep into this, but it is important for people to understand that infrared is so much more clinical and so much more deeper than just infrared sauna. Like it goes, if you really like, I've studied this for so long. If you really understand the value of the wavelength, there's so much value in each part of the spectrum. So on far, that's the one that we talked about that is absorbed, into your cells. That's what heats up your core temperature. That's what starts to mobilize everything and cause you to sweat, increase your circulation. So far infrared helps you give you that radiant glow of your skin from the inside out. So your skin's going to look and feel better because your body is being purified. So I always say, purify the body and the skin will follow. And I have actually sat, this is years ago, because we also have a day spa in our headquarters. And when we first opened the day spa, we'd sit down there and watch people come out of the saunas and just, ask them their feedback and get some good quality feedback on their experience and anything I could do differently. And the thing that was consistent was everybody's like, I love the way my skin looks and feels. And it's a glow. It's a
Mm.
glow. It's a beautiful, radiant glow. Okay, so that's far infrared. And then near and red, which are delivered by LEDs. Red is obviously visible, near is invisible. Both of those penetrate the skin. Near penetrates a little bit deeper. So by penetrating the skin, it helps with boosting collagen and elastin and accelerating cell turnover. So you get that reduction in fine lines and wrinkles. And so you're getting the glow from the outside. You're working it superficially, and the far infrared is working at a deep level. And then you combine those two, you get the most radiant, beautiful skin. And you feel like you look healthy because of all the energy working together. So hopefully that answers your question on skin. On immune, um, the sauna helps with immune because it helps activate heat shock proteins in your body. And by activating those heat shock proteins, you're making your body stronger and you're boosting your immune system. You're increasing your core temperature. You're shocking the body state of hormesis. And that shock is just it's making you stronger. It's like whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And fortunately, with infrared, it doesn't feel like it's going to kill you. It feels like a really gentle, wonderful hug, when you're in there, and then 30, 40 minutes later, you're like, "Oh my gosh, that was just the best experience ever."
Mm. You mentioned your brother and the mercury toxicity from his fillings, his dental fillings, which good on the dentist for finding that because so many doctors and dentists would probably overlook that. Um, is the sauna the primary way that he was able to heal?
Yeah, that was the only thing that worked.
Wow.
Yeah, he tried chelation, he
Yes.
traveled all over, he tried everything, he was still sick.
Oh
It
my
wasn't
goodness.
until right, I mean, I saw it with that's what changed my life because I saw it with my own eyes. I would go over to his apartment, and at that time, I was living in St. Louis and watched it, and he's like, "You have to come over and just experience it," and I would come over and I'm like, I was so confused. I didn't understand what was going on, and I kept opening the door, and he's like, "Just shut the door and stop talking to me." So I'm like, "What's going on now? What's going on now?" He's
Oh
like, "Oh
my
my gosh,"
god.
So, on the that just reminds me of another benefit that I think is really important for your community, which is stress,
Mm.
and just it like the value of sitting in there being able to habit stack, being able to deep breathe and
Mhm.
allow this energy to heal your body and to put you in this super, super relaxed state. Bring down that cortisol. You'll notice your breath, instantly changes. That's such a gift, Amanda, that we need to take better care of ourselves. And obviously your community is doing an amazing job, in so many ways of taking care of themselves. And this is another tool in the toolbox to add on just to complete the circle.
Yes, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the Longevity Hackers documentary. I want to hear all about you being featured in that documentary. Just share a few details. And then we're going to talk about the settings because selfishly, I just want to do a bit of a deep dive on kind of the details of the settings and what we should expect from each. So, tell me about the Longevity Hackers documentary.
Aw, well, thank you for asking. You're the first person that I think has asked about that. So, what an experience. Like, it almost makes me weepy,
Aw.
just because it's, you know, to be included in a documentary where the producers are I mean, they're talking breakthrough science and breakthrough in every category. And they dedicated all this time and energy and money to putting all this content together to help people live longer lives with tools that are proven scientifically to do that and have all these resources so that people can just watch the documentary. And the fact that myself and Aaron and our company was represented in that documentary, I mean, I'm blown away. We went to the screening, we were invited, so Longevity Hackers was nominated for an award at the Beverly Hills Film Festival, I think it was like a month ago, and the producers invited us to come out and do the red carpet and do the screening, watch the screening, which I had never, done before, and so imagine being in a movie theater watching a movie like with all these people who were filmed in it that I met right before on the red carpet. And then, you watch yourself, that's a totally different experience. I'm like, oh my God, this is the weirdest thing ever. But it's a breakthrough, pioneering documentary. I mean, I would encourage everybody, to watch it. I'm so proud of the producers. James Pratt and the whole gang. They are just committed,
Mm.
and so I'm honored. I don't know if you know Willem Hoff,
Mhm.
yeah, and he's so funny in this. He's so real and genuine, but there's no but. I really enjoyed, watching him, and Mark Cuban is in
Mhm.
it, and Keith Norton narrated it, and yeah, just really honored and to be a part of it. And they came out here to Kansas City to film, and it was a sun up to sundown day, which is amazing, and I'm really proud to be in this same film as somebody like Mark Cuban and Tony Robbins.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible. Incredible. Okay. Let's talk about the settings because I know many of our listeners are going to try a sunlight and sauna at their spa or they're going to invest in one. Many of my coaches already do have one. One of my best friends just bought one. I have another friend I'm going to talk to you about once we're wrapped up who wants to get one too. I have owned my sauna for 2 years, but admittedly, I haven't done enough of a deep dive on the different settings. So typically what I do is because of my schedule and I do have 5 kids and I'm running a very fast growing company and I work out for a living, my window for the sauna just happens to be at the very end of the day. Okay, it is what it is. I sit in the sauna usually around 7 o'clock to 7:30 or 7:40. And again, I'm, like, almost embarrassed to admit this, but I just hit quick start, okay? I don't know what to do or how I just hit quick start. It heats up. I'm sweating pretty fast. I am able to just wind down. My only beef with the sauna is that it has Netflix, and because it has Netflix, I'm watching Netflix, which probably I should be meditating or praying, and I'm watching Netflix. And then I get out and I get my shower. I put the kids to bed, we watch the sunset, we read a book, and then I lay in my PEMF mat, and then I go to bed, and I have been recently sleeping very, very well. Is there something different I should be doing with the settings? Also, by the way, I turn on the little clicker for red light above me. So it's the red light above me. What do you personally do, and what would you change about my routine?
It sounds like, Amanda, it is working perfectly for you, so I probably wouldn't change anything. I will give you some other options to consider, next time. So one of my favorite things to do, so I have the exact opposite schedule. I do it in the morning. but one of my favorite things is to mentally evaluate what's going on in my body. Like, what do I need from my Sunlighten today?
Mhm.
And then that's the program that I pick. And there's something very powerful about, for me, touching the button, and so we have 6 programs to just to tell people to listen. There's pain relief, cardio, detoxification, weight loss, relaxation, anti-aging. And which one do I like, what am I going through today? Like, for example, um, am I struggling with muscle recovery? And so I have, some aches and pains. So I'm going to press the pain relief. If I haven't been able, which has happened more often than it should, if I haven't been able to do my cardio
Mhm.
like I normally, then I will pick cardio. If I just really want to 100% chill, which doesn't happen very often in the morning because that's my, wind up time, but then I would choose relaxation. And so that's the only, I mean, I do quick start sometimes too. So I've totally done, I mean, I've done it so many different ways, but I do like, I'm really working on um, just being more like internally and physically, like more aware and like just sitting in the awareness for a little bit of how am I feeling? What's going on? What do I need from my Sunlighten so that I can press the right button for it to do the work?
Yeah.
And then like sit in that and really allow yourself to just like relax and go there and like just picture the energy doing its work,
Mm.
and then doing whatever. I do love to habit stack. So I will do, depending on what's going on in my body, I will do multiple things. So I will either do breath work or I will do intention setting. Um, or, I will do some stretching because the level of stretching before and after is amazing. Your body moves so much better afterwards. I don't typically I've listened to podcast, like I've done, it all, but I'm really trying the past and lately I've just to be quiet,
Mm.
and be still and use that time to get my body and my mind and everything prepared to have the best day ever.
Yeah. Ooh, I love it. Okay, I think the way that I'm going to iterate on what I'm already doing is I maybe will hit the quick start ahead of time. I'll go in so it's already nice and hot. I'll get my sweat on, but then I will listen to my body. And if I do need the relaxation at the end of the day, or I feel like the anti aging might be the better route, then I'll kind of transition quickly from the quick start to one of the programs, which I think is probably a good happy medium. Now, let's talk a little bit about the lights above. There's so many options for the color of the light. So if you're listening and you're not familiar with the Sunlighten, I have the Impulse, it's the 3 person, and there's red light. So the literal color of the light settings, blue light, green light, purple, yellow. What is the significance of the lights and how does that impact my health and results?
Yeah, great question. And for people listening, the lights that are above you are completely different than the LEDs, the LED energy that we talked about earlier, which was the near infrared and the red light. So completely different. So the lights above you think of them like the options to change the paint in your house. Think of them as, oh, today, like I want to go to a blue room, or I want to go to a red room, or I want to go to a yellow room in my house. That's what you had the way to think about the colored lights and how they impact your body is they impact your body responds to color in a different way. And it changes, it can change your mood. There's a lot of research on how different colors affect your chakras in different way.
Mhm.
So, for example, blue light can help you like calm, and it's really good to be into a blue light if you're going to prepare to communicate because it works on your throat chakra. So that's one example. But that's the value of them. And while we're on the topic of impulse, I don't want to forget to mention impulse is one. That's the one that you have. It's what I have. It's what's behind me. It is the only sauna, infrared sauna on the market that has red light, near infrared, mid infrared, and far infrared. Separately, independently, it's the only one that has 6 programs. It's the only one that has Netflix, all that. So it is a unicorn. It's in a class of its own. It is one, though, of 4 different collections that we have at Sunlighten. So I want to make sure, because access is super important to me. And if like impulse is out of the, is not available for you right now, it's not an option, which I completely understand. There are 3 other options that you can start with. So that's just really, really important.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that. So do you switch up your colors similar to how you switch up your program? So kind of depending on how you're feeling that day for the lights?
Not typically I you're gonna laugh. Typically I leave the light off.
Funny.
So, I'm so focused on the healing energy, and I'll get in different positions. Like I really love having my back on the bench with my head back to the tablet, and then love having my legs up.
Mhm.
And so I like doing a lot of visualizations of, manifestation, of just kind of visualizing, okay, we have somebody is flying in town that's visiting us. What begin with the end in mind. How do I want to feel when that person arrives? How do I want to feel, during our meetings, and just kind of visualize everything while I'm in there. And so I don't typically, or if I have it light, it's a very low level, because I just don't want I'm easily distracted. So full
Mm.
disclosure, like, I mean, if we could sit here and keep talking, I would keep bringing up other like topics, because I just, it makes me think it was another thing, and I go on tangents. And so I know that about myself, I mean, so many times when I first started taking my sauna, I like would get out because I would remember to do something else and blah blah blah. Now I've settled down, and I know that consistency is more important than intensity. So
Mm.
being consistent and being in there and deliberate is more important, than anything else. And so I'm really good now, but I don't need to create an environment where I can be distracted, and I would choose different buttons. So once I choose my program, then I visualize, some that the sauna is doing its work, and now how do I want to comply with that? Do I want to lie down? Do I want to start off in a warrior pose? Do I want to sit, like, how do I want to enjoy this experience? And that's
Mhm.
my favorite part, is choosing that.
I love it. Last thing I'll share for the listeners. Recently, I've started also doing a castor oil pack while I'm in the sauna, and it has seemed to really improve my health. So, Connie, I am missing 2 genes for detoxification. They're not suboptimal, they are gone. I had a genetic test done a few years ago, and it was so wild to see my genes listed, and on the detoxification genes, it said, "No copy." And then the next one, it said, "No copy." And I was like, "Okay, that explains a lot of things." So, for example, I don't detoxify glutathione. Glutathione is extremely important for immune system and detoxification. I literally physically cannot detoxify and process glutathione. So one time I got a glutathione push after an IV, and it was as if snake venom was injected into my body. My blood pressure absolutely tanked. I was shaking. I almost had to go to the ER. It took hours and hours for my body to process through it. And so I've had to come at detoxification from a different angle than most people. I can't detoxify alcohol. I feel horrendous if I drink alcohol. THC, many things that would calm people down. It's the opposite for me. It's like poison to my body. So, and I do have like a sluggish liver as well. So for me, the sauna has been absolutely key for gentle detox because I cannot do a normal detox that someone would do where, "Oh, I'm just gonna do a week-long detox of XYZ." No, that would send me into bed for a month. So I'm consistently having to gentle detox, sauna, using a castor oil pack while I'm in the sauna, dry brushing ahead of the sauna, those types of things for me are really, really key, and then I drink an entire Stanley of water with salt as I'm in the sauna as well. So for me, like you said, habit stacking, those different items are really, really key. What I need to get better at, Connie, is just turning my brain off and relaxing or meditating instead of bringing my phone in. I really should not bring my phone in there. I'm bringing it, I'm working. My president today, I was like, yeah, I love, when I'm able to be in Costa Rica and I start working earlier because then I get, more time off. He goes, "What are you talking about? You work till 11:30 at night no matter what." I was like, "Yeah, that's probably true," including when I'm in my sauna. But anyway, I just wanna acknowledge you for creating such a wonderful company and really the premier infrared sauna company from my perspective as I survey the landscape. And, it's just I'm sure you're so proud of what you've accomplished and created and the benefits that you have given to so many individuals worldwide. 17 different countries at least, incredible. So share with us, Connie, where can we find you and follow you online?
Yeah, so, first of all, thank you for those kind words, and thank you for your compliments. That was really nice, and, yeah, I'm super happy to be doing, what I'm doing, and I love what I do, and, I mean, it's, what drives me and gets me up in the morning, is to help people, feel better and be able to do more of what they love to do with the people they love to do it with as a result of what I'm doing, and live their fullest life. So,
Mhm.
um, people can find, sunlighten.com, and we can also put in the chat all the places on social media, but we're all over social media as well. So Instagram and LinkedIn. And I mean, I am as well personally. So, you don't hesitate. You can reach out to me if you have any questions. I want to help. And sometimes it can be super, super confusing, especially when you start to be like, talking about the different types of collections, and it's just going to be confusing. We have an amazing staff. So people can also call 877-292-0020, and they can also go to our website and chat. And there's so many different ways. I mean, our goal is to meet you where you are, in your wellness journey, and however we can help, we want to have the help you get the right fit. There's not just one solution. There's lots of different solutions. And so, we'd love to, work with your community. I mean, you have an amazing community. I mean, you're amazing. I remember, meeting, I think we met at Consumer Health Summit, gosh,
Yes.
you know,
Yes. Oh my
years,
gosh. When
years
was
ago.
that?
I
That was
know
2018?
18, I wanna say.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah, I
word. So
know. So
funny.
to I said no. So it's like it's been great for me to watch, you grow and, make such an impact on all these amazing women. I mean, I'm sure, because if they're anything like you, I'm sure it's just a most amazing community. And I feel honored to be on this show and be talking to them. And so, I'd love if they want to reach out to me too. If they have any questions, that would be great.
Amazing. Well, Connie, you are the best. We truly appreciate your time. I will put all of those links in the show notes. And I hope you guys all get your hands on a Sunlight and Sauna because I'm telling you, it has been a game changer for my health. It's well worth the investment. At Consumer Health Summit, I learned the quote that things could either be expensive or they can be valuable, but they cannot be both. And in this case, it's valuable for your health. So, Connie, thank you. We appreciate your time. We are better off for it. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. Bye.